Hey guys, Preeti here. I recently read Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerill. It wasn't really what I was expecting, which is kind of disappointing. I thought that it would be this super cool fantasy novel with a really great romance with lots of angst, and while it did have those elements in a very formulaic way, it wasn't the exciting way that I was looking for, and everything was just kind of bland and taken with a pinch of salt because it just wasn't special, and that really disappointed me. What this is about is basically, there is a girl named Britta, and she is very close to her father because she doesn't have a mother figure in her life, and she was told by several people that her mother is a very bad person, and I'm pretty sure she had magic, so there is a negative stigma towards magic in the place where she lives, and her father has always told her that her mother abandoned her, so she's very close to her father. And what her father does for a living is that he hunts criminals for the king, so she, being a lovely daughter, goes along with him and does this, and is also really good at this, great at hunting, all that good stuff. But one day, unfortunately, what happens is that her father is murdered, so she is out there living on her own now because she did not get her father's inheritance or his land, so she is basically out and hiding in the Everwoods where she feels safe because she has no money, she has no food, and one day she goes poaching and she gets caught poaching, which is not good because the death sentence for poaching is only you get hung, but I can't really do that. Yeah, no. But instead, what happens is that they kind of make a deal with her. This authority figure in the palace tells Britta that she has to bring back the person who murdered her father if she wants to not be hung. And this is obviously a great deal, but then we find out that the person who is possibly the person who killed Britta's father is Cohen. Cohen. Let's go with Cohen. He is actually a guy who apprenticed with her father, and apparently he used to love his father like a father figure, and even worse, Britta kind of had a thing for him, like a huge thing for him. He broke her heart, of course he broke her heart. So either she's extremely happy to kill him, or she's like, wait, this doesn't add up. But one of those things. And so yeah, and that's where the story goes. So if you haven't read the book, this is probably the place to stop because now it's gonna be filled with spoilers. Lots and lots of spoilers, and I don't know if you want to read this book or not, but don't stick around if you want to read the book because I'm gonna talk about everything. Bye! Alright, I'm back with this book, and now we can talk spoilery things. So, first up, one of the very first things I found very annoying about this book was that Britta, at the very beginning, she was a very, very strong female figure. She was very independent, did not need another guy, another person in her life. She could live alone. Granted, she was starving to death, but she could live alone. And she was determined to find her father's killer when the guards offered her the deal, which is great. Like, yeah, you don't need anyone. Go kill Cohen. I don't care about your past relationship. Frickin' kill him. At least that was the mood she was in. Like, I obviously knew that there was gonna be a romantic entanglement involved with Cohen again, but she didn't because she's a book character. She's not reading the book. She doesn't know she's in a book. So that was great. And then once Cohen actually gets into the picture, she becomes this swoony, girly mess, and it's very, very annoying. Like, dude, where did your independence go? It's so sad because she was such a strong figure, and then once she sees Cohen again, not only is she kidnapped by him, which was honestly very stupid on her part, because she's like a really good hunter and she knew something was wrong, but she didn't even suspect that Cohen was laying a trap for her. Like, really? And then there's the fact that she's always unsure of herself after Cohen comes into the picture. She doubts herself, and she doesn't even focus on her father's murder. Like, no, the first thing on her mind is not the fact that her father is dead and killed by somebody that may or may not be Cohen. No, the first thing on her head is that this guy may or may not be interested in her, and she's very afraid that he's not interested in her, and like the whole romance is on her mind. And usually that's fine, but the female characters I'm used to, especially after books like Sarah J Maas's novels and everything, they have a healthy balance of romance and adventure and murder and like all that good stuff. Britta was just not. She became all weak and weak-limbed and wiggly, and it was terrible because I wanted a strong, solid figure, and like the romances with strong, solid female characters are the best ones, and she was just going along with Cohen and following everything she said. Cohen was the one who found out where her father was murdered. He found all the clues, and Britta was just following along, and I just found that really disappointing for her character. And honestly, both of their characters were really bland anyways. Cohen was like the average love interest you would expect from a fantasy novel like this. He grew up since Britta saw him, and he grew muscly and he grew a beard, and Britta was, what, skinnier? I hope that's not an aesthetic thing because, excuse you, I hope it was just the starvation and stuff like that. But again, this book was entirely too romance oriented For example, the scene where Britta was whipped by the guards for running away. Not even running away, she just didn't want to walk back to where the rest of the guards were with this one evil, disgusting, perverted guard. For that, she gets whipped. And I had a suspicion that the entire reason for the whipping would be so that Cohen could come back when he's with Britta, see it, and get all angry and want to take revenge, which is exactly what happened. Although at first it didn't happen. It took a while, so I thought, maybe this isn't why, in which case the whipping is actually completely unnecessary to the novel. But nope, it showed up. It showed up. It was there, and I totally saw it coming. Again, like I said, this entire book, I just found it really formulaic, and that kept me from enjoying it, unfortunately. More problems with the romance. Let's see. There was the fact that Cohen, from the very beginning, from the time that they were together, whether or not trying to kill each other or not, he kept looking at her lips, okay? And obviously he never made a move past that. He would just look at her lips, shake his head, and walk away in the opposite direction, okay? Okay. The thing that made this even more annoying was that Britta noticed this too, and she could not stop commenting on it. And not like out loud, not to Cohen, but like in her own head. This was just really annoying to me. The problem is that she basically complains the entire time to herself that he doesn't think of her as anything other than a sister, and I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, if she was wondering if she actually saw the lip viewing at all, like if Cohen even did that I can understand, because you have to have a certain amount of confidence in yourself and your attraction going both ways to be confident in the fact that what you saw was actually what you saw, that he was actually looking at your lips and it wasn't your imagination. Instead, Britta just complains about the fact that he thinks that she's just like a sister to him. That was just the most unrealistic thing ever, because guys don't look at your lips if they think that you are a sister to them. That's common sense. That's freaking common sense, sister. Figure it out. Yeah, so no, that was just really annoying. That was so annoying. I can't. Like, ugh. Britta, she was a terrible main character. She had such potential at the beginning, but she failed. She failed so badly. Now, getting past the whole annoying romance thing, which we will get back to later, because there's the thing that happens at the end that I want to talk about, which will probably have a very big impact on the romance in the second novel. But before we get to that, I want to talk about her grandmother. And I thought that this was the coolest thing, because I definitely suspected that there was a relationship between her and Britta in the beginning. Like, when we first see them, once Britta mentions who her father is, the old lady becomes like super nice and super sweet, and a random old lady that you meet in a cabin or anywhere would not be that interested in a random person's life and well-being and all that stuff. So obviously there was some relationship. Like Britta, I thought that that was her mother, and I was kind of disappointed when it wasn't. Although I'm disappointed. She would have been a great mother. Sad that she's a grandmother, and even worse, she died. Was that unnecessary? Yeah, that was really unnecessary. Why did they have to kill off her only good female figure? Because she didn't even have any female figures in her life, and now they kill off the last one that she had. She was actually a really great figure, better than all of the other male dudes in her life, especially since all of the male dudes in her life are really, really annoying. But I did really love the bond that they had, because they were so close, and I really felt good for Britta, because she never had a relationship like that with a woman or even a family member, because even though she was close with her father, they were still different, you know, and they were kind of on different levels. And so I just think that the relationship with her grandmother would have been such a sweet thing, and they totally did not need to kill her off. So that was disappointing, but I feel like we knew that she was gonna die anyways, because Britta kept warning her against coming, saying that it was dangerous, and then the grandmother kept pushing it and being like, no, I'm coming. So I kind of saw that coming, and I didn't cry or anything, because first of all, it's a grandmother, not a love interest. I mean, in real life, you'd cry for the grandmother, obviously, but this is a book, and we only know the grandmother for a small amount of time anyway, so it was fine, but it was still kind of sad. Okay, but let's talk about that ridiculous ending that is so freaking cliche. I am honestly not even that angry about it, because I'm kind of excited to see where that goes, because I'm a terrible person. So at the end, what happened is we have the prince whose life she saved. She gave him her life force to save him, and because she was running out of life force, Cohen comes behind her and holds on to her and gives some of his life force too, so that she doesn't die. And luckily at the end, all three of them are still alive, so that's really, really good. What happened though is that throughout the entirety of the book, Britta had this connection with Cohen that she could kind of feel him when he was nearby. So if he walked into a room, she didn't need to look, she could feel him somewhere inside of her. And it wasn't like a gut thing, it wasn't a romance thing. It was like a physical magic thing. And what happens at the end is that she realizes that the next time Cohen walked into the room, like after the whole prince incident, saving life incident, she couldn't feel him. And then what she realizes is that she did feel the prince come in, because she thought that it would be Cohen because she felt him before she looked, but it was actually the prince. So what happens is, even while she is laying in bed with Cohen, she can't feel him, but she can feel the prince. My theory is that in the next book, we're gonna have a love triangle. And I know a lot of you hate those, and I want to. It's probably the right thing to hate those, but I don't hate those. Especially since I didn't even like Cohen as a character. He was just super flat. It's what they said about Mal in the Grisha series. That's what they said. They said Mal was a flat character, which is why everyone apparently liked the Darkling. The Darkling was interesting, but I mean, we're not talking about Shadow and Bone right now, we're talking about this. So Cohen was a flat character. I didn't like him that much. He was just too cliche, too perfect in an imperfect way. Basically, the standard for love interests in not super epic fantasy novels. And then we have the prince. I'm hoping this prince will kind of be like Dorian in the Throne of Glass series. That is my hope for him, but I don't know, we haven't really met him. But from what I did hear, like the one sentence or two that came out of his mouth, he seemed like a very interesting person. Seemed like a great person, and I'm excited to get to know him. If I do read the next book, it's probably just going to be for the love triangle, just to see what happens and all that angsty drama. If they get the angst right in the next one, because they so did not get it right in this one at all. But I'm hoping another character will do that. Maybe triangles help some authors or people just up the angst, and I'm hoping. I also hope the plot will be better, because this plot was really quite dull. The entirety of it was basically the romance, and the plot was kind of like a side thing thrown in. So yeah, they go on this adventure to find the murderer, and they do find the murderer. It's actually really cool, because I did not know who the actual bad guy was, because it could have been like a ton of different people. Britta thought that too, and she actually had this feeling in her stomach that would be like warm if someone was telling the truth and cold if it was a lie. And so I don't know, I just thought the ending was really cool, but there wasn't anything really significant in terms of the plot. And honestly, I don't even know what would happen plot wise in the second book, because this entire book was about just the murder of her father. There weren't like obvious, conspicuous things wrong with the government, at least that I noticed, and that's usually where fantasy plots go, I feel. So I'm not completely sure what's gonna happen in the next book. If I do read it, it'll honestly probably be because a mixture of hopefully another gorgeous cover, and again, the new love interest, and hopefully he will give Cohen a run for his money, which won't be hard. I ended up giving this book 3 stars because it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It didn't go above any line. It wasn't great. It didn't do anything for me. I read it, but that's pretty much all I felt about it. So yeah, 3 stars for this one. But we can't appreciate the cover, right? Like, it's really pretty. I wish I could see it. No, I actually did. I saw it in the bookstore without this plasticky library thing, and it was so pretty. So that is honestly the only reason I could think for picking this up. It was a very fun, fantastic read. Thanks for watching my review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you've read the book, please comment below on what you thought about it and whether it actually did satisfy you, or if, like me, you find yourself kind of wanting more. And what do you think about the love triangle at the end, because I can see a lot of mixed opinions on that one. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos, and make sure to follow me on Twitter, Lone Read Blog, and Instagram, The Lone Reader. Make sure to check out some other videos too, because there are several, and I will see you next time. Bye!